Hi guys, I'm Ramin Javadi, composer of Game of Thrones and Westworld. Thanks for your continued support, and I can't wait for you to see what's in store for Season 7. We're gearing up for a huge concert tour where we'll be conducting and performing with an orchestra and choir and soloists, bringing the music to life. I'm excited to answer some questions about the tour and the music, so please write your comments below, and I'll try to answer as many as I can. All right, here we go. All right, so the first question is actually from Sam C. It says, "Hey Ramin, I was fortunate enough to play young Hodor in the recent season. The Hold the Door scene would have been nowhere near as powerful without your incredible score. What was the process and inspiration behind that section of music?" Well, it was a very powerful scene. It was a very long scene. It had a great action moment with the White Walkers before. And of course, it had the big emotional climax with Hodor's death. And I have to say, it was quite emotional for me to write. Hodor was such a beloved character, and so it was even emotional for me to write that scene. And we decided to use the Stark theme in just a very, very emotional way, played with a solo cello and strings. All right, let's see. What's another question here? Oh, this one is, what's the most challenging aspect of creating music for Game of Thrones? Well, I can say it was in the beginning, before I even started writing, I sat down with David and Dan, and we just discussed the tone of the show. We knew we wanted something different. The show is so different. We wanted to make sure we have our own style and our own tone. So we discussed instrumentation, a thematic approach, and we had an orchestral score with interesting solo instruments. So in the beginning, it definitely took me a little while to come up with the tone for the show. Oh, Stephanie's asking, what's your favorite composition for the show? That's always a tough one. I mean, I always whatever I write last for the show, I guess that's kind of what sticks to my head still. So, last season there were some great scenes. Obviously, Light of the Seven comes to my mind first. That it was the first time we used the piano. It was a really fun scene to write. Let's see, what else do we have? Oh, here, Kim is asking, "Hi Ramin, you're an amazing musician. I was just wondering, what is your favorite instrument to play?" Well, I love the cello, which you can clearly tell from the score in Game of Thrones. However, I don't play it very well, so I can play it a tiny bit. But my main instrument is actually the guitar. That's what I sort of play the best, and piano. But I also collect any kind of stringed instruments and ethnic instruments. So anything that has strings on it, I figure out and can play in one way or another. Here, Janny's asking, how long does it take until you're happy with your final composition? That's a good question, actually. Sometimes I write something and I just kind of let it sit for the night, and I go to bed and I wake up the next morning and I play it back and I think, wow, actually, what was I thinking? And then I just delete it all and start over. Or sometimes I listen to it and I go, okay, I'm actually onto something, and then I continue working on it. But it usually takes a little bit to get it right. Here, Vadim is asking, what's the creative process like for every song? Anything different between seasons? Well, what I do is, it's called a spotting session. I sit down with David and Dan, and we watch the show. We watch each episode, and we discuss every scene in detail. And then I go and write it, and I play the music to the guys again, and then we tweak it and discuss what we can change or what works or what doesn't work. And then I tweak it again, and yeah, that's our process. Let's see. Daniel's asking, do you have the filmed scenes as a reference when you compose the score, or do you start composing before the score, before the scenes are shot? Usually I have footage to write to. Sometimes I write music based on the script and I write it before I have anything to look at, but most of the time I write with what I have on the screen in front of me. Tina's asking, I'm still in love with Light of the Seven. Good, we'll be performing it on the tour, so come check it out. We'll definitely play that one. Let's see. Matthew's asking, when did you realize you wanted to become a composer? That was actually very early on. I was a teenager, and I saw the movie The Magnificent Seven, and there was something about that score by Elmer Bernstein that triggered for me to wanting to write film music. The themes just stuck in my head, and I realized that I like instrumental music and orchestral music, and there was something about writing music that supports the drama of a movie. So as a teenager, I started just studying scores and music and practicing my instruments and really set out to become a composer. Let's see. Joe's asking, do you find there's a difference between composing for film and TV? Not really. I approach every project the same. Before I start writing, I always try to come up with a concept and instruments and what I want to do, and discuss with my producers how to approach it. And so it's pretty much the same. Let's see this one. Can you describe the process of composing The Rains of Castamere? The music was an essential part of building suspense during the Red Wedding. That theme, actually, I wrote in between seasons. The lyrics already existed from George R. R. Martin, and David and Dan just kind of talked me through what they were planning with the theme. Obviously, it's we all now know that it played a very important role in the Red Wedding. So I wrote the theme before I saw any footage and while they were shooting, just to come up with a good melody, and then we planted the theme very early as obviously the Lannister theme, and then just was used throughout the show to then build obviously to the now infamous Red Wedding. This one is, this person is saying that she likes it when the themes are mixed together in the score. Will there be any more of that? Well, I can't answer that right now because I'm really not sure what's coming next. I'm very excited about season 7, and I can't wait to see where that's taking us story-wise and also with the score. So I'm very excited about getting back into season 7 with the music. Oh, Krista's saying we're excited about the concert in February. The theme is my ringtone. How cool. I love that. Well, we'll definitely be playing it live, so very cool. This person is saying, which was the most difficult theme to compose for Game of Thrones? Well, I guess it was all equally difficult. I mean, it's always hard to come up with themes in the beginning when you start a project. And with Game of Thrones, obviously, there's so many different characters and plots, so we worked really hard to distinguish the different themes, to again have different tonalities for different characters. It's definitely challenging, but also a lot of fun to create the score. What's the language spoken in Winds of Winter? It's Valyrian inspired. It's just derived from it. It's not really exactly part of the language. It's it's part of the musical language, I would say. All right, so thanks for all your questions. I can't wait to see you guys on tour. You can get the tickets at Ticketmaster. And now I'm actually excited to show you a new Light of the Seven video to give you a little sneak peek of what you can expect from the tour. So you can check it out now and see you on the road. Thanks.